A small red card. It fits in your wallet next to your credit cards. It looks completely ordinary. But with this card, you could walk into almost any movie theater in America, watch a film, walk out, and come back and do it again tomorrow. And the day after that. Every single day. For less than $10 a month. One movie ticket costs more than that. So how does a company let you watch 30 of them for the price of less than one? That's the question worth holding on to. Because the company behind this card was not confused. They knew exactly what they were doing. And what they were doing was losing money on purpose, on you, on every single customer, with a plan so strange that when it finally broke, it broke in a single afternoon. This is how a company convinced 3 million people to take its money. And how giving that money away almost became the most valuable thing it owned. For 6 years, this card was nearly invisible. MoviePass launched in 2011, built by two entrepreneurs named Stacy Spikes and Hammett Watt. The idea was simple. Pay a monthly fee, see movies in real theaters. But the price kept it small. $30, $40, even $50 a month, depending on the plan. A few thousand people signed up. Nobody panicked. Nobody paid attention. Then, in August 2017, everything changed with one number. $9.95. That was the new price. Not per movie. Per month. For that, you could see one movie every single day. A new owner had taken control, a data analytics firm called Helios and Matheson, and installed a new chief executive named Mitch Lowe. And Lowe was not a random hire. He had helped build Netflix in its earliest days, and he had run Redbox, those red DVD kiosks outside every grocery store. This was a man who understood exactly how people consume movies. So why would someone that smart sell tickets below cost? Here is the mechanism. When you used your MoviePass card at a theater, MoviePass paid that theater almost the full price of the ticket. $8, $10, $12 in a big city. The theater got paid in full every time. You paid $10 a month total. See 2 movies and MoviePass had already lost money on you. See 10 and you were a small catastrophe wearing a smile. Now multiply that by millions. Because millions came. Within days of the price drop, the servers buckled. Within a year, MoviePass went from around 20,000 subscribers to more than 3 million. It was briefly one of the fastest-growing subscription companies on Earth. And every new member made the losses bigger. That's the paradox at the center of the whole story. Their success was the disease. So what was the plan to survive it? The plan was never the tickets. The plan was you. The executives believed the movie tickets were bait. What they actually wanted was the data. Where you drove, what you watched, when you went, and what you bought when you got there. Every subscriber was a stream of behavior. The chairman of the parent company, Ted Farnsworth, spoke openly about how much the company would learn about you. The tickets were a loss leader, a product you deliberately sell at a loss to pull customers in, the same way a store sells cheap milk just to get you through the doors. MoviePass would lose money on tickets, then make it back selling data, selling advertising, steering you toward films that studios paid to promote, and eventually squeezing better deals out of the theaters themselves. That was the theory. On paper, it almost sounded clever. There was just one problem with buying customers at a loss and hoping to profit later. You have to survive long enough to reach later. And MoviePass was bleeding at a speed almost no company could withstand. At its worst, the company was reportedly losing more than $20 million a month. Not revenue, cash. Real money walking out the door to pay for your ticket, and your neighbor's ticket, and 3 million other tickets. The parent company had to keep raising money and printing new shares to cover it. A move called dilution, where a company issues so many new shares that each existing one becomes worth less. Like adding water to soup until there is barely any soup left. Investors started to notice the soup was mostly water. Then came the quiet sabotage. If you were a heavy user, the kind who actually used the card every day, you might suddenly find that your password no longer worked. You'd be told to verify your ticket with a photo. The app got mysteriously glitchy for exactly the people using it most. Years later, regulators at the Federal Trade Commission would say this was deliberate, that the company invented these obstacles specifically to stop its best customers from watching movies. Sit with that for a second. A company quietly sabotaging its own product to protect itself from its own customers. But throttling wasn't enough. And then came the day the money simply ran out. In July 2018, MoviePass hit a wall. It could not pay the companies that processed its ticket payments. And so, across the country, the card just stopped working. Screens went dark. Subscribers stood in lobbies holding a card that suddenly meant nothing. To get through the weekend, the company reportedly took an emergency loan of around $5 million just to switch the service back on. The stock told the rest of the story. Shares of the parent company, Helios and Matheson, had once traded far higher. By mid-2018, they were worth pennies. To hide the humiliation, the company did something called a reverse stock split, merging many shares into one to inflate the price, in this case reportedly combining 250 old shares into a single new one. It is cosmetic surgery for a dying stock. It fooled no one. The measures got more desperate. Surge pricing that charged extra on busy nights. Blackouts on the biggest new releases. A cap of 3 movies a month, then fewer. Every change punished the exact people who had signed up in the first place. In September 2019, MoviePass shut the service down completely. The parent company later collapsed into bankruptcy. And the men at the top faced years of legal fallout, by most accounts including federal fraud charges tied to what they had told investors while the whole thing was burning. The data was never worth what they promised. The tickets were only ever a loss. But here is the part that should follow you out of the theater. You are surrounded by MoviePass logic right now. The ride app that loses money on the trip you just took. The delivery service somehow cheaper than cooking. The streaming bundle priced below what the shows cost to make. Again and again, you are handed something worth more than you pay, and told not to worry about how. The pitch is always the same. Grow now. Hook millions of people at a loss. Figure out the profit later. Your low price today is a bet that someone someday will find a way to charge you more, or to sell what you do while you enjoy it. Sometimes that bet works. Often it doesn't. And you rarely find out which one you're inside of until the card stops working. So look again at that small red card. It was never a deal. It was a question the company could never answer. What is a customer worth when every customer is a loss? They bet 3 million times that they would figure it out in time. They ran out of time first.